Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really powerful strategy from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. We're talking about law number 8, the art of making other people play your game on your terms.
All right, so let's just jump right in with a big question. In any conflict, and I mean any conflict, who really holds all the cards? Is it the person with the most resources, the one who shouts the loudest, or is it something else entirely?
Well, it turns out the one who's really in control is the person who makes their opponent react. See, when you force them to ditch their plans and play by your rules, you've already won half the battle. And that, right there, is the core of Law 8, completely flipping the power dynamic in your favor.
Okay, so first things first, let's really break down what this law of control is all about.
The law itself sounds pretty straightforward, right? Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. But don't let that simplicity fool you. The application is, well, it's incredibly powerful. It's about a fundamental shift in your thinking. You've got to stop chasing your opponent and instead make them chase you.
And listen to how Greene puts it. He says, when you force the other person to act, you are the one in control. See, this isn't about sitting back and waiting. No, this is an active strategy. You're not just playing defense. You're setting a trap. You lure them in with something they just can't resist, what Greene calls fabulous gains. And then you attack. Suddenly, you're the one holding all the cards.
Okay, theory is one thing, but seeing this in action is something else entirely. So let's look at a historical master of this law to see how it's really done. Let's talk about a guy named Daniel Drew, a notorious 19th century robber baron. Now, this guy was an absolute master of this law. He never chased investors, never begged for their money. Instead, he had them practically breaking down his door, desperate to get in on the action. So the big question is, how in the world did he pull that off?
His method was just brilliant and so simple. He created this illusion of a secret opportunity, a fabulous gain, just waiting to be snatched up. He knew that human greed would do the rest of the work for him. It would completely blind his targets to what was really happening. They thought they were being clever, getting the inside scoop. But really, they were just fish swimming right towards his bait.
There's this ancient piece of wisdom that just nails the strategy perfectly. To lure the tiger from the mountain. Think about it. Why on earth would you go fight a tiger up on its own mountain, where it's strongest and knows the terrain? That's suicide. The smart play is to draw it out, down into the open, onto your territory, where it's vulnerable, and you've got the upper hand.
So this gets to the really crucial part. We need to understand why this is so psychologically devastating for your opponent. What's actually going on inside their head when you do this?
Well, when you force people to come to you, they're immediately off-balanced. They're on your turf, playing by your rules, and that makes them nervous. It forces them to rush, to make sloppy mistakes. And all the while, you look powerful, totally in control. They're burning energy, stressing out, and making emotional, reactive decisions. While you're just calmly conserving your strength, waiting for that perfect moment to make your move.
But, and this is a huge but, this law is not foolproof. It's not a silver bullet for every situation. There's a critical twist here, a reversal. Because in the game of power, sometimes sitting back and waiting is the absolute worst thing you can do.
Yeah, Greene makes it super clear that patiently luring someone in isn't always the answer. Just think about great historical figures like Napoleon. He often won by using pure, overwhelming speed and aggression. He would terrify and demoralize his enemies before they even had time to think, let alone plan. It's like a startup that just blitzes the market, leaving some big, slow, established company totally shell-shocked and unable to respond.
So what you have here is a fundamental strategic choice. The luring strategy, Law 8, is kind of like a spider. It patiently weaves its web, conserves its energy, and waits. It's all about control and defense. But the attacking strategy, the reversal, that's the hawk. It seizes the initiative, diving down with incredible speed and force. And the real key to power is knowing when you need to be the spider and when you need to be the hawk.
And that brings us to the final and maybe most important takeaway. See, real power isn't about knowing one cool trick. It's about having a full toolkit of strategies and knowing exactly which one to use at exactly the right time.
I think the legendary boxer Joe Louis summed up the spirit of this reversal perfectly. He once said about an opponent, he can run, but he can't hide. And that's it, isn't it? When the moment is right, a relentless, aggressive attack just leaves your opponent with zero options. No time to think, no room to breathe, and nowhere to go. Their only choice left is to lose.
So as we wrap this up, here's the question I want to leave you with. In your next challenge, your next negotiation, your next conflict, Will you be the one setting the trap, or will you be the one springing it? Does the situation call for the patient spider or the aggressive hawk? The answer to that question will determine who's really holding the cards.